When feminine entrepreneurs move in to support their calling, we start making a difference and having an impact and a big contribution. We actually can see the ways that we can change the planet. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Prosperous Feminine. Today, we are going to have a really rock and roll fun time. Are you ready for this? Okay. I love talking about money medicine and why it matters that we merge our passion and our purpose in our business. And we're really going to unpack this because it's not all about seeking financial success, but it's about a deeper fulfillment in our work. And what does it mean if we really merge passion and purpose? Is it possible for that to become a powerful financial strategy? I actually think that it does. So let's talk about the essence of money medicine. Like, what does that even mean, right? And it's about not just making a living, but making a life, right? And the alchemy of transforming your passion and purpose into a sustainable income stream that's really satisfying. Impact and income are directly tied to each other. And in the world that we're living in, and especially women over 50, we all have a really deep longing. And we're here to liberate everyone's longing. For women that grew up during a certain time with a certain set of beliefs about money, wealth, and prosperity, and what you could or couldn't do with that. Our mothers were heavily judged if they did anything other than had a white picket fence and kids. And we picked up some of that. And so we've got to really bring our passions to the table because we got to stand out. We got to do something of meaning. But it's that thing that's really catalyzes our voices, is that longing. Because there's a shame and a wonder and a little bit of fear, right? About going public. And we got to really align what we love doing with what the world needs and is willing to pay for. Like, that's the thing. Those two things got to meet and merge. A couple years ago, I closed my coaching practice, and I'm a wildlife photographer. I've won many international awards, and I felt so called to just do that. And so I went and did that, and I traveled nonstop. And I realized that I couldn't live out there forever. That as much as I love the animals, I needed my community at home. I needed my friends, and I needed my family. And so I came back and I sat for a really painful 15 months going, what am I going to do? And then I was on a board of directors, and we were doing a post-COVID, towards the end of COVID, get together in a meeting, and like, what's changed? And they asked me what I thought about women and money post-COVID. And I went into this riff and I said things I've never said before. And a part of me was already curating and calculating all of this because I process like that. And one of my colleagues said to me, "You're naming the prosperous feminine archetype." I'm like, what? And all of a sudden I realized I couldn't not talk about money because it was time to catalyze a generation of women to become financially liberated. You're one of those women, and I've got a stake in the ground for you. And really want you to think about passion is that thing that fuels your journey. It fueled mine to go deep into wildlife photography. And what I came back and learned that I'll share with you is that we're multi-passionate. We're not just one passion. There's not just one thing. We're trained around the one love, the one thing, the one whatever, the one purpose. But the truth is we're multidimensional. We're multi-passionate. I'm passionate about women being liberated financially as equally as I am passionate about wildlife and their sustainability and their healthy habitats and being left alone and having space made for them. I can get off on a whole tangent about that too, right? And my joke is that I was living a double life. It was epic, but it wasn't sexy because I felt pulled, right? And so when we only address one part of us, So anytime I would just do photography, the part about prosperity would pull on me. And anytime I would do things about prosperity and work with my clients, the wildlife thing would pull on me. So I love talking about wildlife and money. I love talking about both because they're both medicine. And so if you ever end up working with me or jumping into my income accelerator or private coaching with me, I work with a lot of animal medicine and blend wildlife wisdom with money medicine. It was actually one of my absolute favorite topics because all my passions get to come together in a way. Because you've heard me talk about our income rich niche. My clients love nature as much as I do. It's a way that we have a common ground and it earns me the right. And they love my photography because they actually know the person who took the photo. They know that I'm the one behind the lens. And so things start to matter differently. There's an emotional bond, right? Are you feeling that? And what's the thing that gets you up in the morning that you're excited to start the day? I want you to write down. You don't have to do this right now, but I want you to do an exercise as soon as you're done listening. What are the activities that energize you? What topics do you read about for hours or listen to podcasts all day long? What doesn't feel like work? This is where the motto that I live by is Mary Oliver's quote, let the soft animal of your body love what you love. So if you let yourself love what you love, what would you write down? Tell the truth about that. We got to bring our passions into our business because it brings our humanity into our business. It also uniquely identifies us. And you know what I want to share with you about passion is everything that I learn about money comes from my time around big cats. I've walked with lions. I've spent 90 days walking with 9 cheetahs. I've walked with leopards. I've walked with tigers. And no, I'm not afraid. And no, don't do what I do because I have a very different energy stream about it. But I realized that all of the success blueprints and the ways that animals thrive in nature are the same things that we can use in our business, right? So lionesses are one of my favorites, right? Because they have a wealth of allies. They work together. They work with each other. They're passionate about raising their young. They're adamant about getting fed. And they have boundaries with the males. And so there's a way of their being that starts to bring together a way that you can be uniquely identified, but every single one of them is different, right? And so when I start to share my big cat money medicine, people get really excited. They lean in because they haven't heard it ever said like that before. So when you bring your passion into something and your purpose, right? All of a sudden these things come together. And you start to be uniquely identified for something that no one else can replicate. If you look at my website, you'll notice that there's tiger stripes and cheetah spots and there's things all over it that I'm not directly have animals in your face, but that I'm showing you that that's a part of who I am. We want to know a part of who you are. And so the next piece of this is like, you really got to define your purpose. Like, what's that why? So there's your own personal indulgent why. I want to buy a house. I want to build a retreat center. You know, I want to fund this cause, but there's another why. And that's that longing why, is that you came here to make a difference that's bigger than you. I know that if enough women come into becoming financial influencers and financial sovereignty, because you represent the voices of today that have the visions for the world we want to live in, and you're fully catalyzed in doing that work in the world, the planet will change. Humanity will change. The way we treat wildlife will change. It's part of that process. Because if we're going to get in right relationship with Earth, it requires a consciousness shift, right? And so your purpose, your why, the reason for what you do, it's about the impact you want to have in the world, the change you wish to see. And I want you to reflect on what are the problems you feel really compelled to solve? Like, what impact, if you were to have it, would have you know that you lived a life well done? Because at this age stage, we are in the matriarch stage. Forget the crone stuff, okay? The assumption is that once you're 45 or 50 and the kids are out of the house and you're divorced or your partner's no longer alive or you're single or you're a woman doing your own thing, is that you go into the crone stage. I don't agree. We went into a matriarch stage. That means we want to nurture and cultivate humanity. This is where passion comes in, right? And so how do we merge these two things, right? How do we put them together? Because when your passion aligns with purpose, it starts to become a service to other. It becomes a pathway of service. What if our businesses are a pathway of service? If anything that you do helps anyone become a better person in whatever way, that's good enough, right? Because that's where the magic happens. When work stops being about just a job, it becomes a calling. When feminine entrepreneurs move in to support their calling, we start making a difference and having an impact and a big contribution. We actually can see the ways that we can change the planet. You with me? You picking up what I'm laying down? So what I want you to do after you reflect is look for the intersection where your passion meets a need in the market, because there's a place for that. The sweet spot is where your purpose and your passions come together and you can thrive financially. Like, that's what we're about, right? Is when purpose and passion align. When I came back and I restarted my business and I brought wildlife wisdom and money medicine together, I had a hugely successful year the first time around, the second time around, right? The abundance flowed because I was being all of myself, not part of myself. And this isn't just about chasing money. It's about letting your authentic work attract in the right fit client, because you provide value and solutions, and you want to be able to genuinely connect. And in return, financial rewards will flow. And so in closing, I want you to know that money medicine is about more than wealth. It's about wellness in your work and your life. And when passion and purpose merge, it becomes a source of fulfillment and joy, and financial success a byproduct. I'm Julie Steelman. I'll talk to you next time.